Hey everyone, surprise, surprise. We have a Xbox Series S with a bad HDMI port. Shocking. Anyway, let's get this apart. Let's get that port out and get a new one in. Get this back to the customer. Stay tuned. Sorry about that. My battery died for some very strange reason. Anyway, you didn't really miss much. I just removed fan, power supply, um, the power switch, Wi-Fi cards, top shield. It's only a couple screws. You watched me put it back together. So anyway, and here we go, nice and clean. And now it's time for a new port. Let's get that on. Now, before everybody panics, this is actually how I do it. No, it doesn't create bridges, and I'll show you how I fix it. What it does do is create perfect, absolutely perfect joins. So a lot of times if you apply solder to the pads before you put the connector on, the connector sits above the pads. So if your board is here and your connector is supposed to sit flat, if you got a bubble of solder across the top of your connector, it's not going to sit flat. Now, you can try to heat it up and hope every pad liquefies at the same time so that the pad actually sits down into it. Chances are you're going to get pads that are going to stay up. And then it's just problematic. So if you have clean pads and clean pins and they sit flush and then you solder over the top, that's a solid joint. It's not letting go. That's the way it should be done. Alright, so I'm going to want to prop it up here. So I'm going to wedge my little roll of soldering in between. And now it's time to take care of. Hold on, still not done. The key to this is having a clean tip. just like that. Clean it up. And now, just to double check, make sure all of our pins are good. Good, 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 good. No wiggles. Oops. All good. All good. Done. So we can turn that off. Now, there is one other thing that I like to do before I say it's done. And that's back to these again. The solder never fully wicks through, so I always like to hit it with some heat to make sure it does. And that's just to prevent the connector from pulling again. You don't want that to happen. So what I like to do, just gonna blast it with some extra heat. That should be enough. Now what I'll do again, a little more flux. There we go. Nice and clean. And solder is all the way through. And we're good. So let's get this thing back together now. Pretty straightforward to put it back together, to be honest with you. There's not a whole lot to do. I am going to take care of some of this dust that's built up. Before I do, I almost forgot something very important. I'm not going to completely clean it up, I'm just going to reapply. I don't like putting these back on, reusing the existing paste. it's just not good practice. Q-tips, Q-tips, Q-tips. And the stock paste that Microsoft used is like epoxy. I don't know what the hell it is, but let's just say it's not great. And, I mean, to be fair, it's better than what it was. Previous gens, oh my god. Be right back. What a difference. In case anyone's wondering, Goo Gone. Fantastic. Just make sure you really clean it off because it is petroleum based, not water based, so you do need to clean it off. MX4. Sometimes they don't pop. There we go. Good. That's not really required, but I like to put it back. There's a lot of things in these consoles that you can go without having them actually reinstalled, but even if the reason is silly, if it's there, I'd like to put it back. Oh, look at this dirty fan. It's late at night here now as I'm recording this, so good.